Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every morning at 10:30 in the morning, where we get together to discuss and share the latest headlines, stories, tips, comments, suggestions that we run across as they relate to our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community. If you're new to these broadcasts, my name is Paco, and we get together every morning, we share information, and then we make this information available on the show notes for every broadcast, which you can find both on Facebook and also in YouTube. And you can find them on the website that goes along with our projects so that you can go and explore all these topics on your own time. Of course, we'd love to know that you're new. So if you want to let us know, write the word new in your comments so that we can say welcome properly. And if you have any specific concerns or questions or comments that you'd like to make during the show that you'd like us to react to, just add the letter Q to the beginning of your comment and we'll try to get to them during the broadcast, and if not, shortly thereafter. It is always great to see good friends that join us just about every morning from nearby and from far away. South of Boston is in the house. San Mateo is in the house. Michael's getting happy with me. Michael wants to know if it's too early for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I'd like to say, Michael, I enjoy my peanut butter and jelly just about any time of day, any day of the week. There you go. Oh my God, I'm blushing like a schoolgirl. I can't believe this. And of course, you'd have to have watched the Sunday Fun Day edition of Coffee and Headlines to understand this business. Good morning to Michael. Washington State is in the house. This is great. Oh my God, a green smoothie. That sounds divine. That sounds absolutely divine. Anyhow, today is one of those days. How does it feel to have 100 people waiting for me? I don't think about it that way, Christy. In fact, I never thought about it this way until you mentioned it. I am just so happy that we can connect with as many people as possible and spread useful and inspiring information with as many people as possible, because God knows we need it. We need it these days. So it's really, really good to see all of you. This is always good news. Cat 5 Dominguez says that they were in PV last week and they found a condo. So I am so very happy that you found what you were looking for. Congratulations. I don't know if you're going to be moving in or if you're going to be renting it or if you're going to be, whatever. As long as you're happy with what you found, this is a community that welcomes you. As far as I'm concerned, if you own a condo here, that makes you an English-speaking local. So there. Anyhow, let's see, what else do we have? Changes in schedule for Southwest Airlines. Definitely make sure that you keep this in mind. If you have made some reservations, get in touch with your airline to make sure that things are still going the way they are supposed to go. Jeffrey says that he's booked on Southwest in December. Again, things could change any minute, so just keep your eyes on what's going on. You may or may not notice, but I'm wearing green. Since we don't have the green screen behind me anymore, I've never worn green to coffee and headlines before, but it is my favorite color. So I'm really happy to be sharing um, uncomfortable news um, wearing green. And I mean by what I mean by uncomfortable is that there's repercussion after having found out that the number of active cases is going up here in Puerto Vallarta. There's some reaction from local business people, and of course, further comments from our governor. And there's other news that are important to review that have to do with local politics and closings and whatnot. So we might as well dive in. Because we have quite a few things to look into today. So hang in there. The news are going to be bumpy, but we're going to try to make the best of them as we usually do. Let's go there. So we mentioned yesterday that Jalisco, our state, has an increasingly lower number of hospital beds that are being occupied. But on the other hand, the number of active cases keeps rising, and it's getting very, very close to that moment in which our governor, Enrique Alfaro, would push the so-called emergency button. So he makes further remarks about this in this article that I found in Contralinea. As of right now, there are no conditions to continue reopening additional activities. Not that there's that many left to reopen, but the opening of stadiums and sports places where people would be able to enjoy a game of soccer or tennis or whatever. This is not going to happen. The idea of going back to school and literally going to school, it's also not going to happen, at least not right now. The one that makes me laugh is the opening of nightclubs is not going to happen. And that one does make me laugh because at some point during this adventure, and this is completely speculative on my part, I do feel that the governor sort of decided to look the other way and let the different mayors do whatever they felt was best for their municipality. And we know what happened here in Puerto Vallarta. All the nightclubs seem to have opened. But according to Alfaro, this is not going to continue to happen. He has mentioned that that the fact of the matter is that 40% of the cases right now are happening to the population that is between 15 and 34 years of age, the young population. Now, according to the comments made by the governor, young people are far more resistant to the virus, so it makes sense that young people may not need to go to the hospital as much as people of a certain age or people with pre-existing medical conditions. But the fact of the matter is that even if young people are more resistant to COVID-19 effects, they are just as contagious as anybody else. So this is why the whole situation has the governor not very happy. He addressed the mayors of all the municipalities in Jalisco and said to them, to mayors, I ask without any lack of clarity that you must dedicate yourselves to vigilance and making sure that the security protocols in the different economic activities in your city are followed properly. The rules are there so that they can be followed, and I trust that municipal authorities will make this matter. So again, we are not going to see something chaotic happening, but the mayor did the governor did volunteer in this other interview or this other article listed in published by Vallarta Opina, that if there was a situation in which the emergency button was to be pushed again, what would that look like? Well, what would happen, according to this article, is that, where is it? I saw the comment somewhere. No. Oh, here we go. This would mean that all the bars and nightclubs would have to close again. And restaurants would have to close at 7 o'clock in the evening every single day. And during the weekends, neither restaurants nor nightclubs nor bars would be able to open. If we reach the number of active cases to 400. If we reach 400 active cases, right now we are at 360. We know that this number gets reset every week and looks at the number of active cases on any given week. So this is real. This is real. It is happening. It is happening in other cities, and it could happen in Puerto Vallarta. This is not good news, but this is a result of what happens when people do not follow the guidelines which I have repeated, and we know, but we will repeat them over and over as it becomes necessary, is wear a face mask, keep your distance, and don't go out unless you really have to go out. Something else that was remarked in one of the two articles by the governor is that shopping centers are packed with people that are not necessarily shopping. They're just hanging out. And some of the stores are not following safety guidelines, like, making sure that everybody walks into your store with a face mask on. So this is important news. This is important things to know. I used to get really excited with these kinds of headlines: Puerto Vallarta, Mexican destination with better signs of recovery. Now I'm not so sure that I get so excited about these news. According to some research conducted by an international firm that is not mentioned, Puerto Vallarta is the one destination in the country that has fared better in terms of economic recovery. Here's another one. Puerto Vallarta is the most visited destination in Mexico after the quarantine. Well, this is all lovely, but what good does it make if the people that come here are not going to follow the safety guidelines? And I'm not saying everybody is not following them, but again, it's one of those things in which you have to think whether this is actually a good thing or not such a good thing that we have, the highest tourism recovery in the city. In other news, we find out that Norwegian has canceled cruises through November, well past the CDC order set to expire November 1st. So it is on November 1st that, the White House cleared the way for cruising to return to U.S. waters on November 1st. But Norwegian Cruise Line won't go out to sea until at least December. Then further down here, we read that on October 1st, Carnival Cruise Line announced it scrubbed all remaining 2020 cruises, except those sailing out of its home ports in Florida. And even those aren't a sure thing. Royal Caribbean suspended cruises through October 31st. So bottom line, from what I'm reading here, it's very unlikely that we will see cruise ships in Puerto Vallarta during this fall, and as opposed to what was being mentioned here and there, that the cruises might come back to our destination before the end of the year. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know that I would want to be on a cruise, and I don't know, again, that it's so good that even though they bring economic prosperity, that people might be coming into the city to, act irresponsibly. And again, I'm not generalizing. I just don't feel so excited about those news. Let me take a quick look at your comments just to see where your mind is with all of this. Beam, parim, pam, pam, boom, boom. Li la li la li la li la la la. Bookings. I see that so many of you are excited to book and to come back here. And I know, because you're all regulars, that you will behave very responsible. Pilar Perez, hola Pilar, she chimes in about nightclubs because yes, this has caused problems all over the world. It's not just a Puerto Vallarta thing. Jorge chimes in, yes, cases are going back up in many different places. Karen also shares some empathy with what's going on. Needless to say, it is important that we all try to, be as gentle as we can with people that we know and love, and say, hey guys, wear the mask. And this is very sad because, when us locals make comments like this one that Eric makes, and I can totally agree with Eric, I am avoiding going certain places because, I'm told to stay home. And I think, it is sad when we start avoiding places like Emiliano Zapata, which is the bread and butter of the tourism um, uh, industry here in Puerto Vallarta. Well, not the bread and butter, but one of the most popular tourism destinations in town, Emiliano Zapata. And this is where these things are happening. Uh, and then Pilar mentioned something else that I hadn't considered. With hurricane season also hitting Cancun, we may see more people coming to Puerto Vallarta that would have otherwise been vacationing elsewhere. I don't know. This is all not making me feel very good today, which is why I have prepared a special feel good video for the end of the show. Tin, 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 tin. And yes, what Steve says is very true. You don't have to be a doctor to know opening stuff up equals a rise in COVID. And let me chime up with that, Steve. Nobody needs to be a doctor to know that this is going on. I mean, you have to have been living in fucking Mars or something to not understand that you have to wear a mask, you have to safe distance, and echoing to a comment made by William yesterday. People see that venues are open, bars are open, and they're going to go in. Well, the people that choose to go in have either been in Mars or are just completely. I hate to use the word stupid, but no other word comes to mind in terms of not being careful and not loving themselves enough to take care of themselves, let alone take care of the people around them. But I'm starting to get all worked up about this. So we're going to go on with more news because there's still some more news to share with you. Meet Luis Munguia. Luis Munguia is a local diputado here in Puerto Vallarta, and he is one, according to this article, here is one of Governor Alfaro's favorite to become mayor of Puerto Vallarta in the next term. Well, he is under hot water because apparently he has his girlfriend in payroll for the government, and she does not have a job with the government. And when he was asked to give an interview about this issue by Vallarta Independiente, he refused the interview because he felt that they were going to make political noise. Well, I mean, if your girlfriend is on the payroll for the government and she's not an employee and she's making over 40,000 pesos a month, I mean, one needs to be able to talk about this. So that is something that I thought you should know. It's a little early to worry too much about the next elections, but you might as well start meeting some of the characters that may be involved. There are horrible photographs, and they're published here, of Diputado Munguia, who was photographed in May of 2018 on a taxi falling asleep with his face and his shirt covered in vomit. That's how our public officials should not be behaving, but who am I to say? We know that a certain president has been in and out of his house and has been parading in cars and acting, of course, very responsibly about his actions. So in case you're wondering, could Mexico's president get COVID? And Hugo Lopez-Gatell, who gives us all the information about the disease here in Mexico, tells us that there's a wall of protection around President Lopez Obrador. We don't get close to anyone. He mentioned that even when he's having personal meetings, nobody gets close to the president because we want to make sure that that our president remains healthy to do the job that he has to do. Another one from Hugo Lopez-Gatell, who in the middle of his nightly press conference, he blasted a local newspaper, local as in from Mexico, not from Puerto Vallarta, because of what is being coined as infodemic. He stopped his press conference to denounce a tweet by El Financiero, a Mexican news source, that published the wrong number of deaths over the weekend. And Hugo Lopez-Gatell was quick to denounce sources of information for not being clear and transparent and factual with the information they share, which goes back to something that we talk about very frequently here at Coffee and Headlines. Do we trust every source? No, we don't. And do we trust any given source all the time? Absolutely not. So when people that are tuning in ask us about what is going on, where are we getting the numbers, where can we get better numbers than the numbers that we share? Well, we share the official numbers. And if news sources then decide to make their own math and publish something else, this is something that we continue to be very vigilant about here in Puerto Vallarta, in Coffee and Headlines, and we will continue to do this moving forward. Now, this other bit of news is very funny because it somehow contradicts what we've been talking about. In case you were wondering, if you want to open a bar in Puerto Vallarta, you need to get a liquor license. And according to this article, there are 175 requests for a liquor license that haven't been attended, and might as well remain that way, if you ask me, because the council in Puerto Vallarta that approves or disapproves liquor licenses has not met since 2018. 2018 was the last time that new liquor licenses were approved in Puerto Vallarta, and 40 licenses were approved at that time. So you may ask, so if all these new bars that have opened, where do they get their liquor licenses? Well, it's possible, I'm not an expert on this thing, but it's possible that they can buy them from other people. It's possible that they pay a bribe to be able to get them. I don't know. But I think it is amusing that the council that approves liquor licenses is finally going to meet after 2 years to either approve or disapprove 175 requests for a liquor license at a time in which new businesses that sell liquor are not even opening anymore because of the pandemic. So, what do you know? What do I know about the news? Sometimes you just have to laugh at all these headlines. Moving on to other things. The highway from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara is again in the spotlight. Once again, it is stated that the construction will continue until 2021. The construction of the highway was begun in 2012, and the idea at the time was that it would be finished in 2 years, which of course has not happened. How funny. So now the papers are saying that when the highway is finished, the travel time between Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara will be 2.5 hours. They keep making the time shorter as they publish new news about this. That is so absolutely funny, because first they went down from 5 to 4.5, from 4.5 to 3, and now it is down to 2.5 hours when they finish the highway. If they finish the highway, what do you know? Let's see. Comments. I only go to La Comer and Costco. They are obeying rules. Many. Good for you, John. I'm not going out much anymore, anywhere. I go to places that I know, places that I trust, and even places that I trust. I know that there could be risks involved. So it is one of those things. Thank you, Jaime. Stupid is the perfect word to describe the anti-mask Karen crowd. Well, yeah. And Eric says you can't fix stupid. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Again, the only thing that I can tell you is what we've been sharing all along. We must take care of ourselves, and we must take care of our loved ones. It is a personal decision, and it's one that has to come even before we pay mind to the guidelines that come from the government. Gerardo shares a very interesting read. I will be happy to read that after the show. Thank you very much. Diane says, I love those tower lights behind you. Are you talking to me, Diane? I don't know. I'm sorry. I love those tower lights behind you. Oh, you mean the ones that are like behind me? Oh, thank you. I got those in Guadalajara a million years ago. Michael says, if all the paperwork is done and in order, you can apply for a temporary license and pay monthly until the meeting happens. That is what I am left to believe. Thank you for your sardonic humor. I don't have any other kind of humor this morning, Heather. It is one of those days in which, no matter where you look, things are just really cray cray. And then you look at the news coming from north of the border, and we're not going to touch that. We really are not going to touch that. But oh dear, oh dear. Well, we are going to go north of the border for this one because the CDC has been under hot air about whether we get the coronavirus from coughing or from airborne particles or small droplets. They changed the tune of what they said, and then apparently they changed it again, and there seems to be a sense that the CDC is under pressure from the White House. And I bring this up only because we are a country, like many other countries, that look at institutions like the Center for Disease Control as one of the most important authorities in the world as to how we should be behaving and what we know about this disease. So when even one of the most important, credible agencies in the world is waffling about what we're supposed to do or what we're not supposed to do, who are we supposed to believe? Maybe we're supposed to believe Luna. I believe Luna. She's my kitty. She tells me exactly what to do and what not to do. Let's see. Oh, Diane confirms that she was liking my lights back there. I'd like to comment at some point about my little arrow sign that is over my head because I made that myself. But not today. Today is we're being sardonic because the news are just being silly. Michael asks, how is Luna? And Luna is doing great. She brings me a lot of love and comfort every single day. Trisha, thank you very much for such an important comment. I love it when Trisha chimes in because she's full of wealth and expertise. Trisha has this ginormous support group and group here on Facebook that everybody should read. Lots of great, wonderful, useful information. And with that thought in mind, one more. The CDC published guidelines have been usurped by politicians. Usurp, that's a word that I've never said in English before. Thank you very much for putting a new word in English, which in Spanish is usurpar. I know the word very well. I just know that I've never spoken that word before. Thank you very much, Terry. And with that thought in mind, because your guys are getting obsessed about the CDC and all that stuff, again, I don't want to turn this into a lively discussion about what's going on north of the country. So let's take a look at the weather. Boom. The weather. Don't be afraid of computer viruses. Don't let them dominate your life, says Carrot Weather today. And it is 26 degrees, feels like 29. It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 63%, a little higher than yesterday, but much lower than a week ago. 1 week ago, we were having days with 100% humidity. That's horrible. So the weather forecast for today tells us that it's going to be humid through the day, but we already knew that because we said that yesterday. Humid and partly cloudy through the day tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, humid and partly cloudy through the day. You may ask, where did the rain go? Well, the rain may be gone altogether, although this is usually our hurricane month. We just don't have any more rain to talk about. And this is really, really wonderful because we've had a lot of rain through the summer. I think I am ready, and I'm sure you are ready to enjoy better weather and fresher weather. Now, let me tell you, that I want to continue with some leisurely, well, they're not leisurely, but I put them on this side of the program just because they're leisurely, but not leisurely. They're leisurely, but they're thought-provoking, and that would be to start with the number of places around Mexico that are already starting to cancel their Day of the Dead festivities. In Querétaro City, the Day of the Dead festival will be virtual, has been announced by the Secretary of Tourism of that state, Hugo Burgos. They are not going to put any kind of monumental altars in public, and they will not use any kind of city ornamentation that makes reference to Day of the Dead in Querétaro. And in Aguascalientes, they have canceled their traditional Skull Festival because of COVID-19. Again, This is the second announcement that I've seen today, and this came from the governor of Aguascalientes, Martin Orozco Sandoval. Um, he is not even indicating any kind of virtual anything. So this gives us an indication of what may happen in Puerto Vallarta in case you were thinking, oh boy, I'm excited about Day of the Dead in Mexico this year in Puerto Vallarta. Well, I don't know that I would get too excited just yet. Um, I do have some looking forward to kind of news, and this is that the city of Guadalajara is putting together a series of projects to reactivate the historic center of the city. They're talking about specifically 8 projects for whom they have set aside a sizable budget of 26 million pesos. These projects include a new video mapping installation at the cathedral that has to do with the city, another video mapping in the sanctuary about the life of Fray Antonio Alcalde, a well-known priest, and other types of illumination of public plazas and so forth and so on. This is, of course, being earmarked so that the city can better welcome tourists back once it becomes the proper time to visit the city. And of course, I love how we get bombed by this night sail from Liverpool. Oh, it's back. There you go. Anyhow, this is something that we can all look forward to. And then with, pronunciation, usurp. Thank you. I said usurp. What did I say? Usurp? Usurp. Usurp. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Again, I never said the word before, but thank you very much for that. Is the arrow behind me orange and green? Yes, and I will take a photograph of it and I'll share it with you so that you know the story behind it. William says it rained last night. Okay, William, so the rain has not gone already. I'm glad that it rained last night. It didn't rain over here. I am happy that the rain is gone. Can we have some good news? Something that makes you laugh out loud? Well, I was going to save it until the end, but since you're asking for it right this very second, and since YouTube didn't flag me, and since you didn't all chime in or tune in to Sunday's Sunday Fun Day, I'm going to bring you something from Sunday that seems to be a clear reflection of what's going on with the news today. Remember our talking parrots? Well, let's revisit this one. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck with the news? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, we need some laughter today because the news are kind of grim. Although I do have 2 last things that I want to share with you before we wrap this up. Is, we've been talking about how the government is finally getting their act together in terms of enacting this notion that we are not allowed to forbid people from using our beaches. Well, this headline caught my attention because they talk about, this is Vallarta Pina, talks about this tiny little beach that I must confess I've never been to, but this is a tiny little beach that they say has crystal waters and blue waters, and it's south of Puerto Vallarta, and it's called the Esmeralda Beach. I think it is where there's a development or a condo called Punta Esmeralda. I'm not sure, but it is on Highway 200 on the way to Mismaloya. And of course, it's one of those beaches that you have to find your way into because there are buildings surrounding it and preventing regular mortals like you and I from visiting it. But check out this cute little beach south of Puerto Vallarta. Again, that building kind of looks familiar to me, but I cannot picture it. You drive your car down the beach and you never quite know where to stop. So this is a beach that I'm going to become increasingly curious about, and maybe it would be fun to visit it. And we have also been talking about Pueblos Mágicos. Well, it turns out that yesterday, the federal government decided that yesterday will become the new official Pueblos Mágicos day in Mexico. And in the context of the pronouncing of this official name, the little town of Mezcal in the state of Nayarit recovered its Pueblo Mágico moniker. This is a little town that I've always been intrigued about visiting because it is in an island. The whole island is a tiny, tiny little town. And I understand that there are places to stay on the town. And I used to be very excited about this little town. Then somebody told me that it smelled really bad. Ew. I hope that is not true. But this is Mezcaltitan in the state of Nayarit, and it regained its status of Pueblo Mágico, according to the Secretary of Tourism for the whole country. This would be Miguel Torruco Marquez. So we will have to add this to our bucket list and hopefully visit at some point. And let me come back to the big screen. There we are. And let's take a quick look at your final comments before we go on with the rest of our day. Let's see. What the fuck? I will tell you about Aro Decor on the next show. It is I made it myself. I made it out of cardboard. I make cardboard furniture. Have I ever talked about this? I recycle and repurpose cardboard into furniture. You cannot really see it, but well, there's all kinds of things in the house that are made of cardboard. I'll give you the cardboard tour one of these days. Anyhow, let's see. Final comments. I am so glad you enjoyed. What the fuck? And I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep that parrot because he may come handy every now and then, because we are going to continue to have some crazy news, particularly as we get close to the month of November. And as long as YouTube has not chastised me for using it, I am not going to remove it, and I'm going to bring it back. Sounds like me walking around my house, says Lisa. What the fuck? I love it. I love it. David says, that parrot is my spirit animal, especially on muted conference calls. I tell you, we should all have a what the fuck video in our lives. Let's see. Maybe it's the beach with El Set at the south end. I'm not entirely sure, but I will have a friend with a car drive me there, and we'll see where that beach is. So friends, let us try to keep ourselves happy about the things that we can be happy about. And I think we can be happy about a lot of things. Somebody asked me earlier, how do you feel when hundreds of people are waiting for you? That makes me happy. That gives me purpose, and having purpose makes me happy. So if you're waking up every day, think about what your purpose is every day. If your purpose is to make ice cream and make people smile when they try your ice cream, then be happy like Kathleen is happy. If your daily goal is, to make people be able to enjoy our beaches using special wheelchairs, be happy like the wheelchair friends that we have here. I mean, we all have reasons to be happy about, and we all have reasons to be what the fucky about. So, just try to focus on the good stuff. And Michael Young says, thank you, Paco, for a great show. I hope you're starting your rehearsals, mister, because I'm looking forward to your great opera recital featuring Play That Funky Music, White Boy, when you come to Puerto Vallarta. But between now and then, we are done. We are finished. This has been Coffee and Headlines for today. As always, I am so grateful for your company. I am so grateful for your contributions. You pay my bills. You know that? You pay my bills. You really do. And you are a community that helps me have purpose. And I am very, very grateful for that. And yes, you do pay my bills. Well, you pay for Lunas' food, that's for sure. Anyhow, that's the end of today. I hope you stay happy. I hope you stay purposeful. I hope you stay what the fucky. Every now and then, just go what the fuck. We are allowed to feel out of control. And have a great day. And I will see you again tomorrow. Stay kind.